Hello everyone, my name is Helen Driver and this is week 5 of Composition 2. You have a number of assignments this week and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of those assignments and to give you a little help with the research portion of the research paper. So let's take a look at the week 5 announcement. You need to finish lesson 4, and we'll go back to that. Continue to work on your research paper. I'm currently grading the outlines and the thesis statements. And so briefly, I have been pleased with what I've seen. Most of you, no matter what you've turned in, will receive credit for it. Note that the 0 does not mean you have a 0 for the assignment. It just means that it's a placeholder. I'm going to apply the points to the final version of your research paper. Also note that with the thesis statements, you might want to make, some of you are just discussing the symbols within Fahrenheit 451. You might want to delve a little bit deeper and you can discuss how the symbols, the setting, the characters all help Bradbury reach a certain theme within the novel, and it's your choice as to what that theme might be. You should clarify that theme though in your thesis statement, okay? But I want you to keep working on your research paper. It is worth so many points that it's important that you start working on that as soon as possible. You have an annotated bibliography due this week. Sorry, not today, due this week. I know a number of you have asked me questions about it. It just basically, what you do is you give me a citation from your research, not the novel. That's a primary source. And then you give me a 2 to 3 sentences summary about that source, okay? I don't take late work for this, so you need to get that done this week. Because it's the purpose of these assignments to have you get things done ahead of time, and it's pointless if you hand it in late. I'm not going to give you credit for that. You have a midterm due this week. Make sure to study the vocabulary, the short story and poetry vocabulary. Make sure to also have a basic understanding of most of the short stories that you have been assigned. There will be specific questions within the exam that ask you to name a short story that ... It doesn't refer to a specific short story. It might be, that uses third person, or that it just depends on what midterm set of questions you have, but you need to know the stories in order to answer that question. A basic understanding of the stories. You don't have to memorize them, but you have to prove to me that you've done some reading in this course, okay? And then you also need to post to the week 5 discussion board. I'll go back to that. I'll have the novel analysis graded by the end of this week. While I'm grading these essays and the outline and thesis statement, note that I'm applying comments directly to the assignment. When you upload your assignment, there is a document that is given to Blackboard, and you can see it when you click on that assignment. It's not the Word document, it's just an image of your document that shows up. It's called Crocodoc, right? I am going to apply comments directly to that document. Okay, so I'm not going to upload a separate file. It's going to be directly on that document. I find that students prefer that because they can easily see my comments and they don't have to pull up another file. But I do give you the file for the first essay because you need to know how to do the format. But from now on, my comments are going to be directly on that document. To see my comments, you have to click the X. The yellow X, and I'm going to give you information on each of your assignments that explain how to open up my comments. If you have problems with that, let me know. It's hard for me to show you because I don't have student work on my view, but I'll figure something out if you can't figure it out. But note that my comments are directly on that Crocodoc, okay? I do want you to take a look at my comments and take them into account. So anyway, enough of that. So you also have an annotated bibliography. Oh, and also going back to the midterm, so you need to study the vocabulary. You need to study, kind of understand the short stories. You will also have to write an essay. And you need to make sure you have enough time to write this essay. Okay, it's a short essay. It's not as long as, obviously, the longer essays that you have been assigned in this course. And it's enough that you can finish within the time frame of the course midterm, as long as you study a little bit ahead of time. You know, if you're trying to frantically look up answers while you're completing that midterm, you're not going to have enough time to finish that essay. And I'm going to be able to tell that you've done that. You need to do a little bit of studying. You need to understand the vocabulary in a general sort of sense, you know, because if you're sitting there looking up, you know, basically cheating during the midterm, you're not going to have time for that essay. And the essay is worth quite a bit. It's worth 100 points. So make sure to leave plenty of time for that essay. And the essay will be based on a poem that is given to you. And you will have to incorporate poetry vocabulary into your essay. I will be checking for that. Okay? So it's not really something you can study for in advance, but you do have to know the poetry vocabulary. And you have to kind of understand what those words mean before you take the midterm. Okay? So now let's look at the lessons. So we do, remember in this course, we do skip around a lot. So you should be completing lesson 4. Let's look at the learning activities. I really want you to study these poetry terms. So make sure you have an understanding of all these terms before you take the exam. As well as you should have, and you know, it is good for you to know these poems. However, you will not be assigned specific poems on the midterm. Now let's go back to lessons again. Let's go to the short stories. Go to learning activities. You will be asked questions about the short stories in general, and they're fill in the blanks. So make sure you have a general understanding of most of the stories here. It's not going to pick a specific work. It's not going to give you a quote from A Worn Path or anything like that. But it will ask you quite like a general question, and you have to pull in a story that fits that general question. You also need to know these fictional terms. Okay? Make sure you understand these. Oh, and none of the answers in the midterm should be Fahrenheit 451. So don't put that. I've had students that put that in for every single response. You won't get credit for that. I will not give you credit if you try to put the novel instead of as responses to those short answer questions as opposed to the short story. Okay. Sound a little angry at that. I'm not, but just don't put Fahrenheit 451 because that's not what it's asking for. So, okay, so today, or this week, you're working on the research paper, the annotated bibliography. You need 3 works cited citations for 3 scholarly articles that you plan to use in your essay. Okay, there's a link here that shows you what a scholarly source is. Scholarly sources are generally academic source articles written for literary journals. And they've been written by experts in the field, and they have been checked for accuracy by peers within that field. Okay? Websites generally are not scholarly. You generally will not find scholarly sources just by Googling the title of the work. I do not want to see Spark Notes. I do not want to see master plots. I do not want to see Schmoop. I don't want to see any of those works in this annotated bibliography. If I do, I will not give you credit for it. You need to have scholarly articles. You need to put a 2-sentence summary of the source, basically just telling me what purpose you have with that source in your essay, how it could be useful. You could also discuss, you know, what the article is about if you want. It's up to you, but it would be helpful if I knew how you were going to use that source. Okay? And the assignment will be included in your research paper grade. So when I grade it, it's going to be a 0, but on your actual essay, the points will be there. All right, so let's go into the library. And so I'm going to show you how to look up sources. Okay, so the library is right here. You click on that. I already have it open, so. And here are the library resources, okay? Click on databases. Then you're going to have this pop up, a list of databases, a number of databases. The one that I found kind of useful is Literature Criticism Online. That's where you might find some scholarly articles. So click on that. You're going to have to enter in your username, and then they explain how to enter in your passcode. Okay, so the username, I believe, will begin with a C for you, and then your passcode involves your birth date and a shortened, like, abbreviation of your name, but I can't remember exactly. But anyway, so once you enter in your passcode, then you have this pop up, and this is Literature Criticism Online. And it just basically gives you a lot of literature criticism right at your fingertips. It makes it super easy. So in here, I put in Fahrenheit 451, and I'm going to click on search. Hopefully my computer didn't time out. Great. So now I have a number of sources. I have 81 sources that are related to literature criticism. Now all of this may not be useful. This one discusses a movie. This one is an excerpt, so it might not be entirely useful. This is a full text of a critical essay, and it deals with Ray Bradbury inside the essay. So let's go ahead and click on that. That might be useful. And as you can see, there are a number of pages here. And on your own time, you can go through the pages, and maybe you could do a little search and see how they use Bradbury. Okay, and you could just basically just read through it so you understand it. You can also email it to yourself. And to form the citation, it's super easy. Click on Citation Tools. And then you just make sure it's on MLA 8th edition. And you take this and you cut and paste it into your paper. Super easy. You can't get any easier. They format the citations for you. Okay? So that's one source that you can use. Let's see what else they have. Just out of Explicator. That's a great online journal. So academic journal. Let's go ahead and click on that, see what it gives us. And look, it pulls up the specific journal, and it also highlights Fahrenheit 451, which probably was going on in the next one too, in the one previous, I mean. So you could use that. Click on Citation Tools again. And you can add that into your essay. Now I'm going to do another quick check because I noticed that many of you are writing about symbols. And I have not. This may or may not work. So let's see. I'm going to put, let's see if this works. It may not. Oh, it did. I still have sources from this one simple little database. How wonderful is that? It's pretty amazing what the access you guys have to research nowadays, because I had to use the car catalog, and it was not as easy. And plus, let's pick this up again. Okay, and look, Citation Tools. You just click on that, and you cut and paste it and put in your essay. Super easy. All right, let's look at the database again. I want to tell you some other ones that you'll find useful for your essay. Okay, so ones that I like are EBSCO. This one right here is very helpful. Let's go down a little bit more. You might find this one useful. You might also find this one useful. Okay. Going down, I'm just glancing through. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, a lot of these, I don't think this one will be quite as useful, but you can try. I'm going back up again just to make sure. This might be useful. These three, though, are the most useful. I mean, you literally, there's no excuses. You should be able to find something online. But if you need help, just let me know. Okay, good luck with the research this week. Oh, I wanted to point out one more thing. All right, so these are very useful. But let's say you want to go and you've decided that you want to go to Google. So let's pull up Google Scholar. Okay. All right, so I am going to put Okay, and then I'm going to do censorship. The way to get possibly peer-reviewed sources, because let's look at these. These aren't all peer-reviewed sources. This might be. Let's just take a look and see what it is. See? A lot of times they don't give you access to the full source, which is kind of annoying. But if you enter in this term, PDF, oftentimes you do have access to the full article. So let's kind of see this right here. You see the difference? So if you enter in PDF, it doesn't limit you as much. And I can tell if you've just read the annotation within the article itself. I can tell if you just read the brief introduction. Make sure you have access to the full article before you start putting in your annotation on your essay, because I do expect you to actually use the source in your essay. Okay? Again, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please message me. If it's a general question, please post in the open forum. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. Bye.